What's up, I am Pete Crane. Here are 5 tips to improve your lyric writing. Number 1, start calling yourself a singer. I know some people can relate to this. For myself, starting as a guitarist and a producer, always working with other singers, I didn't start singing for my own projects until much later on. So I was downplaying the singing side of what I do for years. You know, when you have that conversation and you meet new people and they're like, oh, you're in a band, what do you play? I'd have the same response. I'd always say, oh, it's electronic music and I also do the vocals because I don't want to work with a real singer. I'd always say it like that, like I do the vocals, never I'm a singer. And it sounds like a very small thing and it sounds a bit meta and self-helpy, but just that label change, just calling yourself a singer, is incredibly important in terms of, you know, creating yourself as you want to be and manifesting, getting better at something. And it's just really important to start, you know, calling yourself what you want to be in order to develop in that area. So there's a homework assignment if you want one. Next time you're in an Uber having that awkward conversation or getting your hair cut and they ask what you do, say, I'm a singer. It's good for your soul. Number 2, start believing you have something to say. Perhaps because I got into singing later on, I think I had a bit of a lack of self-belief in my lyric writing ability. And for me, I think the way that was manifesting was that a lot of my earlier sets of lyrics especially were very stream of consciousness. They were very much, you know, strings of cool words and phrases and, you know, evil sounding shit that sounded ominous but didn't really have much meaning behind it. And there's nothing inherently wrong with that, and there's nothing wrong with stream of consciousness style lyrics. There are some excellent songs in that genre, in that style of lyric writing that I definitely love. Think of Bring Me Back a Dog by IMX, or, you know, Jesus Built My Hot Rod. You know, excellent songs with lyrics that, you know, stream of consciousness. And I think those kinds of lyrics are excellent in capturing a mood or an ephemeral sort of point in time or something that, you know, you want to explore from a particular moment. But for me, I found listening back to my own lyrics that were stream of consciousness style, they lacked a bit of meaning for this reason. If I'd have written those lyrics on a different day with a different level of caffeine, you know, with a better breakfast or something like that, then I feel as though those lyrics would have been completely different. And, you know, they seem a bit interchangeable listening back to them. And for that reason, for me, they have a bit less meaning. And there's no reason that lyrics have to have meaning. You know, it can just be about the delivery and the attitude and all that stuff. But for myself, I know that I'm a lot more prouder to listen to old songs and, you know, perform them in front of people years later if I know that they're about something in particular, where I've written them about a particular topic. For me, those ones are ones that kind of stand the test of time a little bit more. So if you find yourself doing a lot of stream of consciousness lyric writing, you know, just stringing together cool sounding words and that sort of thing, then try writing things about something, you know, specific, an event or something that means something a lot to you, and it could become your favorite track. Number 3 is to structure your lyric writing session. For me, the music always has to come first when writing lyrics. So when it comes time to record the vocals, I'll be listening to the track back, either if it's a completed song or at least, you know, a verse and a chorus, you know, something to be able to work on in terms of the lyrics. So I'll have that playing, and then I'll just start improvising vocal passages, ad-libbing stuff with nonsense words, just whatever works in that moment. And I'll definitely want to write down these nonsense words because they'll help me remember the melody and the rhythm that I'm coming up with on the spot. And in the past, when I first started writing lyrics, as long as those temporary lyrics were kind of cool enough, then that might pass as the final version. But more recently, I've started doing a thing where I would, you know, get down those initial temporary lyrics in order to remember the melody and the rhythm of the vocals, and then I would stop, and then I'll go into a sort of second phase where I would just free write a couple of paragraphs about what I want this song to be about. So this is really just you know, if it's an idea that you want to explore, or maybe something from a book that you want to, you know, process, or maybe something political more and more these days, or something that's happened to you, really just sort of stopping, and because it's, free writing, you can really get tangential with it and really explore an idea and, get it on paper, and, it doesn't have to rhyme and anything like that. It's just, what you want it to actually be about. And then it becomes the third phase of writing the lyrics, which is drawing from that pool, drawing from those paragraphs that you wrote, and getting those to match into the lyrical rhythm that you came up with in the first phase. Number 4 is to smash that second verse. A cool thing to do for your second verse and third verse is to reuse and recontextualize ideas from your first verse. This gives a sense of tying together your lyrics and makes it feel stronger and more legit. If the first line of your first verse ends in the word black, you could end the first line of the second verse with the word white. Another thing to do, which is really cool, that you would have seen in movies and TV shows all the time, is, they'll say a line in the first act, and it'll feel pretty innocuous when they say it. But then they'll say the same line in the third act, but in the meantime, all this shit would have gone down. All hell would have broken loose. And when they say that same line again in the third act, it has completely new meaning to it. It's got all this weight underneath it because of all the stuff that's happened to give it a new meaning. And you can do this in lyrics, ending, with a phrase or a line that you've used in the first verse. And it gives your song a sense of having gone on a journey and adds some real power to it. Number 5 is to maintain a rhythmical symmetry. When you're writing a vocal passage, you want to make sure that it respects the music underneath it. You don't want a vocal melody that doesn't play well with the chord progression going on, and you don't want a vocal rhythm that adds unnecessary syncopation to the rhythmical elements that are already in the song. At the same time, you don't want to just stick to the downbeat or stick to the bass line on the the chord progression, because that can come off as boring and uninspired. So you want something that really enhances the music already that exists in the song, and adds some momentum and adds some interest. Then the idea is to maintain rhythmical symmetry, to make sure that your verses have the same amount of syllables as each other and that sort of thing. But perhaps the more important point here is that, for me at least, this is far more important than making sure that your songs rhyme. Knowing about rhyming structures is very cool. These are things like, a rhyming structure would be, for example, A, where the last line in every line rhymes with each other, like Yesterday by the Beatles, or A, where the first, second, and fourth lines rhyme with each other, and the third line rhymes with something else. But I've definitely seen more lyrics fail because the author had doggedly stuck to a rhyming structure than I have with sticking to a rhythmic structure. The amount of times that opening up rhymezone.com genuinely helps you get out of a jam is probably less times than it does. So those are some things that have helped me become a little bit closer to where I want to be as a lyric writer. Hopefully it's been useful for you guys as well. I wanted to give a bit of a mix of some meta stuff that has helped me overcome some blockages in terms of writing lyrics and writing songs that I'm happier with and more proud of, as well as just some more, pragmatic, tips as well. Writing lyrics is definitely an incredibly rewarding thing, and doing vocals, it's this really kind of greater than the sum of its parts thing that come together when you've got a song with a chord progression going on, and you come up with a vocal melody and rhythm that just feels like the only thing that could possibly have fit there. And then when that matches with some lyrics that draw from a pool of something that's really meaningful to you, it just feels amazing when it all comes together. So it's definitely something that's worth putting the time into getting better at. That'll wrap it up from me. So if you'd like to stay notified of these videos, please hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and if you like this video, give it a like. If you disliked it, a dislike, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.